What's up, St. Louis? It's your host, Luke Farrell of the STL Bucket List Show. The STL Bucket List Show is driven by Bomarito Automotive Group. Bomarito is Missouri's #1 car dealership with over 20 locations, so I guarantee that there's one in your neighborhood. Since the 1970s, Bomarito has sold over 1 million cars, and John and the entire team made us feel completely comfortable when we picked up our new vehicle recently for the family. So I can't thank the Bomarito team enough for driving this episode forward, and enjoy the show.
If you want to hear about St. Louis, tune into the Bucket List Show weekly. Hear what Marissa and Luke say. It drops every Wednesday. Got a dope new guest every single week. Buckle up for the ride. Who's it gonna be? Who's on the show today? They rep St. Louis. What to do in the loo on a late night, or maybe what to do on a date night. Yeah, Bucket List has you covered. They know what's going on. What's going on? They'll give you, 18 different things to do, or 19 if you need one more to choose. Yeah, this city is a place we call home. A place we call home. Yeah.
What's up, St. Louis? It's your host, Luke Farrell of the STL Bucket List Show. Our co-host, Marissa, is out. At the time of this episode, we would have already just had a baby, so kind of taking a little bit of a break, pre-recorded some episodes, but we're back. We're in the studio. We got some special guests. We actually got 3 people in the studio. We've only done this once before with the Normal brand back in episode 58. We had 3 people all in the studio. So before I get into it, I want to shout out a few of our friends over at Four Hands for making sure our thirst is quenched on the studio. We're not drinking today, don't worry. And then our friends over at Bomarito Autosport, our newest partners of the podcast. We just picked up our new family vehicle from our friends over at Bomarito, and we love it. We can't thank them enough for making that process so easy for us. So without further ado, I want to introduce our guests. So I'm going to kind of go around the table. But before I do that, I want to tell you that we have SSM Health nurses in the studio. This is a first time. We've done 101 episodes. We've never had 3 nurses in the studio all at once. So thank you guys for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
Okay. So I want to go around the table. I'm going to start with you, Melissa. Thank you for coming in. We have an SSM Health nurse. Tell us about you and tell us a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. So I feel like my first formal job, I'm a mom. Mom, I've been married to my husband for over a decade now. Before that, I've been a nurse. I've been a nurse now for going on 14 years, primarily in labor and delivery.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Worked
and
out.
You, Caitlyn?
I'm Caitlyn. I am also a nurse, previously in the ICU, but now working in a nurse influencer role. So born and raised in St. Louis. I am also a mom. I was a foster parent, which kind of changed my career a little bit, but now adopted my son, Riley.
Wow, that's awesome. Darrien?
I guess I'm the only one that's not a mom here. My name's Darrien. I am a nurse, also formerly an ICU nurse. I love all things food, traveling, and I'm a transplant. I'm not from St. Louis.
Okay.
I've been here for about 4.5 years, and I love everything about it, especially the food.
That's awesome. Yeah, St. Louis has such good food, and that's like our whole reason why we have the STL Bucket List is for food. We get to go to all these restaurants. It's amazing. But just to talk a little bit more about you 3, you guys are nurse influencers. So one of you guys, let me know what that is. I just found out about this. I met Michaela. I've known her. She's like, yo, I'm trying to get you to partner up with my nurse influencers. I'm like, guys, I don't know what's going on here. I thought nurses were nurses. I didn't know you guys were influencers too. So tell me what you guys are doing. Anybody can start. And what is a nurse influencer and what you guys are doing with SSM Health?
You want me to go? Okay, I'll go. So we've shifted the way we do nursing recruitment. So everything has obviously changed throughout COVID, pandemic, and so kind of shifted the way we did recruitment into the fact of having nurses talk to nurses first. It seems that, the nurse lingo, being able to connect and make that relationship, but also, expanding into the social media space, content, the ability to be with you guys today. And so kind of fun to see where it's headed. I think nursing has evolved and excited to see kind of how we can expand.
It is. It's like interesting on social media. Like you go on TikTok and there's all nurses making content now. I mean, it's crazy. You would think they have all the time in the world. Like they're not doing nothing up there sometimes. But in all reality, though, it is a unique job and it's such a popular job with people that are on TikTok. They're like, hey, we're young. We're just out of college. So let me ask you this, Melissa. I wanted to ask how you got started in nursing. What made you even want to get into labor and delivery in the first place? Was that like a calling for you, or was
Do you
that?
know, it wasn't at first. So in high school, I thought I wanted to be a physical therapist. So I got a job working in an office. Immediately, I found out that anytime anyone had a knee replacement, I needed to be there. I wanted to see their stitches, their sutures. I wanted to remove them. So I quickly kind of pivoted. I just found out, I feel like in high school growing up, I was always a caretaker. So it was kind of just a natural transition switching into nursing school. And, what does everybody do? They have babies. So here I am.
Hey, that is true. Everybody does
He's
have
like,
babies.
"Yep, on my way."
That part. So Darrien, what about you? Because you're in ICU, so it's a lot different than labor and delivery. So how did that become a thing for you? And you said you were a transplant as well. So expand a little bit more on what brought you here and kind of your journey into nursing.
Yeah, for sure. So I think what's cool about nursing is that there's so many different paths you can get into it with. So we all have different degree levels in which we came into nursing. I didn't know I wanted to be a nurse. I was a CNA, which is a certified nursing assistant in high school. Thought I wanted to go in medical school. Throughout undergrad, realized that wasn't for me, but I really missed the patient care aspect. So what I did was I, did research in a dialysis clinic, and I was like, man, I really love the human connection and just working with patients. So I was like, what nursing programs are there out there? Let me just take a peek. And I saw this accelerated master's nursing program, and I was like, well, it's fast, it's challenging, right up my alley. So I decided to do that. St. Louis University had a really great program. So that's what led me here. I had no idea anything about St. Louis, but I chose to come here. And then halfway through my tenure at the university, I took a job as a student nurse tech at ICU. And then I think 1 week I was there, somebody was really sick, and I was like, oh, they're probably not going to make it. And then the next week they were walking, and I was like, well, I think this is a place for me to be. Yeah. Always something cool going on. So definitely hard, but a great place to learn.
Yeah, that's amazing. Where are you originally from?
I'm from Danville, Illinois. It's about 30 miles east of Champaign-Urbana.
Okay. So not too far.
No, about 3 hours.
You're still Midwest.
It's a good distance.
Yeah, 3 hours. That is. Yeah, that's not a car ride. So I mean, it is a car ride, but that's a commitment.
Not a one-day thing.
So I want to switch gears a little bit and talk more about SSM Health, and we can pass this to you, Caitlyn. So tell us a little bit more about the organization and what it means to you to be a part of such a great organization right here in St. Louis.
Sure. SSM is actually a pretty large organization that a lot of people think is just in St. Louis, but it's in Wisconsin, Illinois, Missouri, obviously, Oklahoma. Sorry, Oklahoma. But it's kind of cool to see. We have, of course, the hospital side, but the post-acute kind of areas. And so I've worked at other hospital systems, and I enjoyed my time. But what it means to me is that I really feel invested in. So throughout my career, I've had the opportunity to kind of grow and evolve, which is one thing I love about nursing, the ability to flex where you're at in your current, life, I guess, phase. Yeah. And so it's been a really good time. I've only been here actually for about a year and a half now. So.
And you're based here in St. Louis too?
I am, yep.
Yeah, that's cool. So I hear that you guys support a lot of places right here and initiatives in St. Louis, including the St. Patrick Center, the food bank. Melissa, if you want to tell us a little bit more about what SSM Health does for the community beyond just nursing services and physical therapy services and other services that you guys offer.
I think just being present in general, I think having the opportunity to participate in the St. Louis Food Bank and the St. Patrick Center, just being there and being able to interact with different people, showing them that, yes, we're here for SSM Health, but we are people and we're here for you as well. So it's just, it's great that they provide those opportunities.
Yeah, no, I think that's awesome. And one thing that I really noticed when I was at DePaul was the culture that you guys have created there. So Darrien, I want to pass this to you a little bit. Talk about that SSM Health culture, because it seemed like we were on that floor. There's probably 12 nurses there. Everybody was invested in what we were doing. They're like, hey, do this, make this video better. Like, they didn't have to do that. None of them were they were all volunteering their time to be there. So tell us about that culture that you've seen working with SSM Health.
For sure. I experienced it firsthand, especially at DePaul. I was an ICU nurse there, and I was actually shocked when I went in there. I worked at another facility, and it was a great culture there as well. But what I felt at SSM Health was that everybody just welcomes you in, and they lend a helping hand. Melissa always says, you don't even have to ask for it. When you get there, people just show up with help. And I found that to be so true. And people really live by the mission, which, organizations have their missions all over, but never have I felt like an organization truly lives by the mission. reveal the healing presence of God and like through our care. And people actually do that. I'm like, wow, like I don't only feel valued as like an employee, but as like a coworker, a lot of growth and development opportunities. It's like a holistic opportunity to just grow as a person in your career and all. So love the culture and always a good time. It's hard to have a good time in a hospital, but somehow we figured out how to do it with SSM Health.
It really is, because the hospital is always that place where, besides labor and delivery, like a lot of people have memories that aren't always great. Even labor and delivery as well. But like you go into hospital, sometimes the way it feels, it's cold, but like it just felt warm. Forgot what floor we were on. I think we were on floor 3, but it was lit up there. It was on floor 3. We had a good time. I learned a lot, so I was very excited about that. But I just need to learn more about this nurse influencer role, because I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. I know a lot of our listeners are following you guys on social media now at SSM Health Careers, but what is how did the role develop, first of all, and like what's a day in the life? We'll give it to you, Melissa, because I had worked with you last week, but tell us a little bit more about how that role started and what your day-to-day looks like, because you're not making content all day, but most time.
So what I find a lot of times in the area, people apply for jobs and they're just applying for the job that's right there in front of them. They don't apply for the job that's their dream because they can't find it. So that's kind of where we come in. It's not uncommon when we talk to people on the phone that they applied for an endoscopy position, PRN, but just in our conversation, we find out their dream is to be an operating room nurse. So I think that's kind of the background or the basis of what we do, really trying to find those dream positions. We're creating them for people. We're also finding there are a ton of candidates that, finding a job, applying for a job, and actually starting, it could take months. With our process, our small little tiny team, we've really strong but mighty. We've kind of expedited the process so we can talk to a candidate in the same day they apply and have them starting within SSM Health in 2 weeks. So I think that's pretty
And you're
impressive.
touching them right away too.
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh, let me just throw this out on the internet and hear back a month later. You're
What
touching
does
them.
everybody want? Text messages
They want
nowadays,
quick.
right?
Yeah, they don't
So
want to call. They don't even want to come see you and drop off a resume. They just want to do it virtually.
That's exactly it. So I think it's kind of more of a personal touch. When somebody applies, I can just send them a simple text message, set up a phone interview, and talk to them that day if they're available. And it seems to really go over well.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think that's nice because a lot of these people are students, so they're in their 20s, and not all of them, but a lot of them might be students that you guys are talking to then.
Yeah, it's students, it's graduate nurses, but I think what's special about this, I'm talking to nurses that have been at another organization for 30 years, and they're asking me, why should I switch to SSM Health? So I think it's kind of special to be able to connect with them and be able to talk to them why, hey, you want to come over here, and this is why.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. So you guys are all over social media. You guys are making content, both educational, entertaining, funny, sometimes really funny. I have to admit, not everyone, but most of them are pretty funny. I saw Darrien dancing the other day. I mean, that was crazy. So you guys are on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, Instagram, of course. So plug some of those social medias so that people that are interested in, and even if they're not in the field that you guys are looking at, how can they learn more about it? So if you guys know those Instagrams, those tags off the top of your head, if you guys can shoot those out.
For sure. So we can go around and say our different tags. So I'm nurse.dare on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook as well, and then X. Yep.
I'm Nurse Caitlyn with 2 N's on all of the same social medias.
Okay.
And then I'm nurse.mel. You can find me everywhere there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And kind of to add to that, I think the cool thing about our platform is that, during COVID, a lot of negativity kind of hit the nursing realm. And I think this position allows us to bring some light back to it and just say, hey, nursing is still a great career. It still has so much flexibility, opportunity for growth and development. And it also allows us to have fun in our, our day-to-day work with being able to go out and not only influence people to work for our ministry, but influence them to have an impactful career and opportunity to grow and just care for someone that's greater than themselves. So I think that's the coolest thing about being an influencer.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about how that was nursing during that time, because that was such a hard time, especially for you guys. I mean, my wife was in education; it was difficult for them too. A lot of these ground level jobs that are so important for our communities. So I know all about it from the educational standpoint. But tell us what it was like being in those nurse rooms, because that lasted a long time. I mean, that was really tough for you guys. So, Caitlyn, if you want to share anything about your experience with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I won't lie that it was really hard. I think it's like really dark. We kind of were joking in the lobby of how dark it really was. So I don't want to, make it seem like it wasn't this beautiful experience, but I think a lot of good things came from it. And so I remember I didn't see my family for honestly like a year and a half, being single, working in the ICU, seeing a lot of people die. I was like, didn't want to risk it. Right. But I think a lot of great things came from it. The opportunity to bond, realize how strong nurses really are, as well as kind of the evolution of what nursing can look like moving forward. And so I think we're kind of reaching that, prioritizing flexibility, work-life balance. And so I'd say it was really hard amidst it, but I'm excited to see kind of the nursing rebranding and kind of how we can grow from it.
Yeah, no, that is true. I think there was a lot of silver linings in a lot of those experiences, and the teamwork and the camaraderie is hard. But yeah, you're right. It was hard being that time. You felt so isolated. In general, people did. And I'm glad we can all sit here and talk now on this podcast and talk about how cool nursing really is. I mean, a lot of our friends are in nursing. A lot of our friends are nurses, like almost like 65% of them. So I know that their jobs are. I want to learn a little bit more about the the flex options for work-life balance, controlling your schedule. A lot of people may think that there's not as much room for career growth. So, Darrien, I'm going to pass this to you, but what would you say about those options of work-life balance, career growth? Like, what would you tell these new nurses that are listening right now?
Oh, so I have a mouthful for you. So I actually had the opportunity to participate in one of these flexible options before taking this position. So I actually participated in our internal travel program. We have a tiered system of PRN roles, which just allows for you to be able to take advantage of your schedule. I love to travel. I was on a different trip, every month this year, and it was really cool because nursing allowed me to do that. It allowed me to make a competitive wage while also making an impact in my career, and then also having the ability to still grow and be able to choose which shifts and stuff I wanted to work. I think that's the cool thing about where nursing is heading now, is that it's that more flexible option. Not the traditional, 3 days a week, 12 hours. You can do it in all kinds of methods, and we offer a lot of different opportunities for nurses to go and make the career that they want it to be. So I actually have the opportunity to work with students a lot, and I'm like, hey guys, just like get your year or two of experience, and then you'll have all the flexibility to kind of go and do all the things you do. Everyone wants to be a travel nurse, but I'm like, there's so many opportunities right here in St. Louis that allow for just as much flexibility, high pay, and growth and development as well.
Yeah, travel nursing's hot right now. Everybody's like, I want to go travel, but then you do it and you're like, okay, I want to go home. I'm sure. I just like being home. Some people do that. But Melissa, I'm going to pass this to you. But what do you see happening? And this could just be opinion based as well. But in nursing over the next 3 to 5 years, I know we kind of talked about it a little bit. But what do you see in the next 3 to 5 years? How is SSM Health redefining nursing? And just give us a little bit of insight on what you think. You've been in it for 14 years, so I think longer than both of you guys. So,
I think we're just going to continue to get creative. So with that, there's a lot of new options coming with telehealth. I think as a working mom, stay-at-home moms, I think we're going to be able to bring in new talent to SSM Health with just the abilities to work from home, the weekend options, part-time options. I'm just kind of looking at even my personal career. I have gotten married, I've had babies, and I think I've worked in from part-time to full-time to that more traditional Monday through Friday. I think it's really exciting to kind of see where we get to in 3 to 5 years and all of the, I'm not going to call it stay-at-home options, but work from home options.
Yeah, the work from home is big right now with people. People on our team want to do it. And I'm like, no, let's come on into the office.
There's
let's
something
go.
to be said
Let's
about
roll.
being together.
No,
That's what
I
like
personally
these people.
think that productivity, my personal self, I'm more productive in person. But some people say they do work good from home, but I just don't have that focus.
I talk too much.
Yeah, I can't.
They can tell you
I would go
first.
crazy. But then you end up talking and you talk to all your coworkers, and then 2 hours go by and you didn't even open one email. So I'm sure that happens too.
Singing, talking, all the things.
Darrien.
Singing, talking, eating. So you've all worked somewhere else before this, though. So, I want to hear a little bit more about what sets SSM Health apart to you. And I can pass this to you, Caitlyn, because, you don't really have perspective unless you work somewhere else. There's some people that have worked at the same place. They've done the same things, their whole entire lives. So if I want to pass that to you and kind of tell us what sets SSM Health apart.
Yeah, I believe that the community and people, human connection is something I'm really passionate about that has set SSM Health apart from the other places that I've worked. And so just to be able to go into work and enjoy who you're working with regardless of the ministry or hospital you're at, or, even working in more of a business setting now, I always feel like I'm having fun. I don't ever feel like I'm working.
Yeah.
And again, who would have ever thought that I would be a nurse influencer? So appreciate how innovative that SSM Health is, especially as a Catholic healthcare system.
Yeah.
I think they're really setting the trend of what the future holds. And so appreciate, the people I work with, community and innovation.
Were you guys influencers before this?
Absolutely not.
I like to think I was. I like to think I was. I had a couple, semi-viral videos, but no.
He
And
had
you were
2
putting out-
followers. No.
But you were putting
One and a
out
half.
content, though. You were putting out content.
Yeah, just a few. I mean, that's a cool thing, and I think
Yeah.
really getting at the next generation, they want to see what you're doing and what career opportunities there are. So it's really cool when I have my students or family members and like, look at those commercials you're making. Like, I didn't even know that. I'm like, it's real, but
They
same
think
thing.
it's like bigger.
Yeah, and I think it's just cool to kind of get paid to do these kind of roles, and the potential that these kind of things can be more prominent in nursing is just it's awesome to see how it's growing.
I think you have to meet people where they're at, and I think that's exactly what you guys are doing. Is there's career fairs, which you guys will be there too. But if people are on social media every single day, it's like, why don't we just stay in front of them? This student might listen to this podcast. They might be 19. They follow you guys because they might be somewhat interested in nursing, and you might not hear from them for 3 years, but they've been seeing your content. And we're not, the younger generation, we're not watching TV commercials anymore. And if we are, we're skipping through them, or we're going to the restroom at that time. Like, we're just not even radio. So there's all these traditional things that you guys are still doing, but then you're like, okay, well, let's add some non-traditional marketing in here. And I'm super excited about it. I mean, the STL Bucket List collab, by the time this episode comes out, that's already going to drop. So we're about to see the floodgates open. So I'm excited about that. This episode of the St. Louis Bucket List podcast is sponsored by local healthcare provider SSM Health. SSM Health strives to provide healing, hope, and opportunities to the communities that they serve in all they do. Registered nurses who join SSM Health immediately feel the impact of a team that offers support and caters to their career development. They offer multiple flexible employment options that lend to work-life balance while connecting you to your calling in a career that you can be proud of. If you are interested in a nursing career at SSM Health, email joinourteam@ssmhealth.com. Going back to being a nurse influencer, so for those aspiring nurses that I'm talking about, whether they're young, whether they've been in the industry for 30 years, what would you wish? Let's ask a couple questions. I'm going to ask one for each person. So we're going to start with you, Melissa. So what do you wish you would have known as you began your nursing career?
Go for what you want to do and do it right away. I think when I graduated nursing school, I was advised to only do one certain service line, only do one certain thing, and you'll never make it if that's what you do. I'm glad that I didn't listen to that advice, and I went into a field that I love, because I think nursing is hard. If you don't go into a field or an aspect of nursing that you love, you're not going to stick around and want to do this forever. So I think just continue kind of chasing your dreams. When you want to do something else, just pivot and go for it, because I think it's going to make a longer, happier career.
Yeah, that's great advice. Thank you for that. All right, Darrien. So what would you have done differently looking back?
I would have got an externship, quite frankly. Yeah, so externship is an opportunity for students who have completed, a full semester of nursing clinicals to come and pretty much be an apprentice under an experienced nurse. So that allows for you to be able to grow in your clinical experience while you're still in school, get paid for it, and be able to learn before you even get the job of your dreams. And it also helps you be exposed to so many different specialties. I don't know how much you know about nursing, but there's a ton of specialties, and sometimes it's hard to choose. So I wish I had the opportunity as a student to do an externship just to grow and learn. Luckily, I was a student nurse tech, so I had an idea about what I wanted to do, but I didn't get to work in that nursing role. So I think I would have gotten involved in some kind of extern program that would have allowed for me to really step into the shoes of a nurse that are some big shoes to fill. Yeah. But just to get used to walking in that path.
Yeah,
no, that's get paid to do it.
And get paid to do
it. That's even better. So we're on the topic of aspiring nurses. So I'm going to pass it to you. So for those people that are aspiring nurses, what can they do to just reach out to you guys? Like, are you guys easy to get a hold of? Like, do I have to fill out the form? Can I just DM you? Can I slide in the DMs?
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely. Just send us a message.
Come on.
Head first.
Our goal is always to make it as easy as possible. So it's organic. It's just us. See our faces. We're people. We're, you know, not anything automated. Just ask a question. Maybe you don't want the commitment of applying. You can just ask me a question about anything, even if it's just nursing, not even a job. I think that's what I'm really seeing and enjoying in this position is the ability to just connect, and you might not know that person that you impacted 10 years ago, and they might come back or not. Like, hey, I was the reason, or you were the reason I became a nurse.
Yeah, those moments are going to start happening to you guys a lot more. I think that you guys have just started this journey, but like those are going to be the ones where they're like, oh, Melissa, like you're the only reason I'm doing this right now. And now they're crushing it in life, and then they have their own families and they're creating their own lives together. So I think that's going to be super special. So that's really good advice for the aspiring nurses that are listening. But I want to hear about some proud moments, some funny memories, and some reflections on your career. So what is something, Melissa, that only nurses would get?
Do you know, I love having repeat customers. I'm going to just call them customers right now, or my patients. But I think that's just something special. Working in one area for a while, it was really special to have people come back to the DePaul family birthplace and be like, Nurse Melissa, I'm here again. You delivered my first 2 babies, and I'm here for my 3rd and final.
Let's
So
go.
I feel like that in itself is just fun. I feel like you're going to find this soon. You're really going to bond with those nurses when you have your baby. They're there for the best part of your life. So I think that's just something I'm forever grateful for, that I could be a part of it, but then people come back and they remember me.
They remember you, and you remember those moments, and then you get to talk about it. And no, that's great. I love that memory. So Darrien, I'm going to ask you a different question. What is the most funny memory that you can share with our listeners?
It's a hard one.
Yeah.
Man, it's a really hard one. We were just talking about this out in the hallway. Some that aren't shareable. You know, I think it's those night shifts when you, because you know, nursing is a 24-hour operation; it never stops. And a lot of us work night shift, and you know, you get loopy around 2 or 3 a.m. So sometimes it's just like, you know, chugging water in the break room just to make sure you stay awake and you actually have hydrated for the day, or it's doing push-ups in the empty rooms just to make sure you get your gains in while you're also, you know,
get the blood flowing a little bit.
Absolutely, you know, you got to promote what you're preaching. So I think it's just those night shifts that I spent with my coworkers that really drew us closer together, helped us grow in our practice, but also had a little healthy competition in. Might I add that I usually won, so.
Oh, there you go. That is right. Like those overnight, I could never imagine. I've always been in traditional working environments, but like those nights when you're like on a sleepover as a kid and you start staying up too late, and then you start saying some stuff you wouldn't normally say. So
absolutely.
Do those push-ups, drinking coffee overnight. Like you guys probably go through coffee. For you guys' break room is probably filled with coffee. It's crazy. Or no, you're down to the Starbucks.
I like the energy drinks, so I'm on night shift. I'm now a business girl, so I'm in coffee. But you know,
you were energy drinks at night. Now you're on business. You can't like drink energy drink on the. Like,
you got to shift. You know, you got to like
shift.
grow and evolve into the
So,
day shift life.
I'm gonna pass it to you, Caitlyn. So, what is something that makes you exceptionally proud to be a nurse, or an influencer, or part of the SSM Health team? Really, just anything in your career that's made you exceptionally proud.
Yeah, I would say it's the vulnerable moments. It's the moments as a nurse that you don't maybe share with everybody. Like there's just being in the ICU, a lot of end of life. And so there's a lot of special, intimate moments that you have the opportunity to be a part of that I think are probably something at least I take throughout my life. It's part of the reason I became a foster parent. And so it's just cool to see how nursing can intertwine into your own personal life and kind of just grow as a person. I know it sounds silly, but like shift your mindset. Remember what's important.
Right.
And so I would say I'm most proud of the times that I've been able to be there for somebody in their most vulnerable moments. I'm the emotional one of the group, if you can't tell.
Hey, well, that's awesome. And like, it's really special, like being a foster parent, and like that's just amazing for you. We need more people like that of you that are willing to take that on. So that's incredible. So I want to talk a little bit more about some future endeavors. So Darrien, I'm gonna put you on the spot here, but are there any goals outside of your nurse influencer position that are on the horizon for you that you could share, or any personal endeavors that you're working on? Or
You signing contracts to be an actor?
I mean, hey, if you'll take me,
This is his audition tape
It is.
right now.
I mean,
You don't know
reporting
what you
live
signed up
from. I think honestly, I'm just such a huge foodie. I think dining with Darrien on Instagram. That's 2 R's. No, but I think just get more into the social space. You know, it's been really cool stepping into this role and seeing the impact we're able to have, even on a global level. We've had international nurses and stuff that we've worked with who have been so impacted by our influencing, and it's been really cool to see. And I think food is an international language too. You get to interact with people that way. So I kind of just want to tap into the food scene here more in St. Louis and kind of help that grow and help people realize that St. Louis ain't that bad.
Yeah. Do you cook too?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So we'll talk about our STL bucket list in a little bit. I'm excited to hear Darrien's because I'm a big food person myself, and I think that one thing that brings food, health, wealth, family, it all comes together. Everybody, even if you're in the break room eating a cold sandwich, you're still together eating over food. And it doesn't matter what language you speak. You can still, and especially in St. Louis, we get the chance to try a lot of unique foods that, you said being in 3 hours away in Illinois that you really didn't have those options.
No.
So that I can understand that of like, man, we had like a couple chain restaurants and then
That's a stretch
buffet.
too.
yeah, a small town. So that's awesome. So dining with Darrien, we're going to blow it up. We're going to be a food influencer too. So I see you on that.
Yeah.
So what about you, Melissa? Like any goals? I know you're a mom. I know you're a wife. You're an influencer. You're a video star. You're on
You
STL
nailed
bucket
it.
list. Right? So besides all of that, how do you balance all of that?
Do you know, this has been the year that I truly did ensure that work-life balance is kind of top tier, getting it up here. So I think keeping a schedule is important. You realize as my kids get older that their life is important. My life is important. I don't want to miss out on anything spending all my time at work. So just really ensuring that when I'm at work, I put all I have in. But when I'm at home, we like to have fun. We like to get out. So I don't know. I think being a mom, I'm always learning. I'm still learning. So I'm hoping I get really good at that. My son's 9, so it's taken about 9 years, but we'll see.
Yeah, you cook too. I saw you brought some food the other day.
I do like to cook. I feel like I could be Midwestern mom also. I'm a big fan of the crock pot, not gonna lie, but I do cook a lot. Now, whether my husband or my kids eat it, that's a different story.
Yeah.
But Darrien and Caitlyn, they've looked at my food, they've tried it. I feel like they might be okay with it.
We love
She's
it.
the mom. She
Her
brings-
holiday
she brings
snacks
food.
too. Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
Yeah, so you bring it to work, but that's the plus.
Yeah.
Like he says he cooks, he eats. He's not bringing leftovers
Sharing
to work, though,
is
he?
caring.
Maybe a little bit.
If there are any.
I'm sure if I asked, I bet he would give me a bite.
Oh,
but,
See, but
absolutely.
she's,
That's my love language.
she's a mom, so she's like, let me take care of my team. Let me bring some stuff in,
It
For
makes
sure.
people happy. I was like, Christmas treats, cookies, all of that,
It makes us happy and fluffy. So
75 hard. That's why
yeah,
Darrien is
that,
doing
that, that was the genesis for me.
Is he? You doing that right now?
Day 8.
Okay. So he's like, let me get that water. And come on
Absolutely.
now.
You know, I gotta count it.
So you're on the healthy food grind bucket list right now. So you're just trying to
Right
find
now.
some right now
Right now.
until
Stay tuned.
March 15th.
March
you're gonna
16th, yep.
smash.
So I need some recommendations.
Yeah, and you're gonna drink. You're gonna you're gonna be a lightweight for sure after going 75 days.
All that sweet tea.
So Caitlyn, we'll end with you with your future endeavors. So anything on the horizon for you? I know you're a new mom as well. How old is your kid?
He's 4.
4. Oh
Yeah.
wow. So any goals for you being with work or outside of work or anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. I am really passionate about people meeting their potential. And so being a keynote speaker is something that I'm passionate about, from leadership to personal, a little bit on the spectrum of where that's at, but just meeting your full potential.
Yeah.
I think it's cool to see people do things. You only live once, right?
Yeah. I love public speaking. I've done it sometimes. Doing the podcast is so much different because you don't have a crowd here. I've done a live podcast before, but public speaking is one thing I really want to get better at. It's hard.
It is hard.
It really is hard. Like with the podcast, we can record it, we can re-record it, we can do it, but like looking at an audience, especially at high schools, that's the worst because they do not pay attention.
They're the most
Ruthless.
judgmental too.
But they don't even pay attention to
No
you.
grace.
They don't even watch you. You're like, all right, let me open it up for questions. None of them even knew what you talked about. It was a
You
big
gotta
waste
plant
of time
someone
for
in
all
there
of
to
us.
ask the
Yeah.
question
It was
for you.
it was a big waste of time for all of us.
Just start singing.
So first of all, I want to thank you guys for coming on the show. The SSM Health Nurse Influencers. I mean, guys, these are the 3 hottest influencers in St. Louis right now. I mean, you go onto their content, you're going to go subscribe, go follow. We're going to be putting out even more content. We're going to be involved with you guys doing some content. So I want to hear about your STL bucket list, though. Okay, these are your 5 favorite things to do in St. Louis. So, Melissa, we're going to start with you. We're going to pass it around the table. I want to hear your 5 favorite things to do in St. Louis. These could be places to eat, parks, family activities, anything. So it doesn't have to be 5. Just give us a few, whatever you think. So what's on your STL bucket
I'm going
list?
to mix this list up
Let's
a little
go.
bit.
Let's
But
do
these
it.
2 I hope make you guys laugh. I like to take my kids out. So we are a big fan of Slick City
Okay.
and Pizza Ranch. Pizza Ranch, it's the greatest
Yeah.
place to take your kids.
Yeah,
So
the buffet.
I know. There's
Yeah.
something about the chicken there. Who would have thought? Pizza
The
Ranch
fried
has
chicken at
delicious
Pizza Ranch,
chicken.
I heard was fire. I used to do networking at the one in Wentzville, Missouri, like way out in Wentzville, and like they told me to get the fried chicken. I'm like, dude, I don't want to get the fried chicken from this
Right?
buffet spot, but they said it was gas. So
You're gonna be there with your kids one day,
Yeah.
and it's kind of become a joke amongst us. They're like, "What are you doing this weekend?" I'm like, "Pizza Ranch, going to Pizza Ranch."
Do they serve
So,
beer?
They do. Well, if they do, honestly, I'm gonna
That's
take
how I'm
that back. Maybe they do. I can't remember if I just came
Yeah.
or not, but we'll see.
beer.
That's how
That's
it goes.
the Stanley Cup. That's what's in the Stanley Cups, I heard.
Like how
That's why
confident I
nurses
was,
love
now I'm
Stanley
like,
Cups, I heard.
It is.
Oh, absolutely. We
Not
started
at
the
work.
trend, believe it or not. If you want to get water bottle, look at the
Yeah,
nurses.
y'all should have a sponsor.
True.
That's what we need sponsorship for.
That's
is-
coming soon. Water bottles. What nursing water bottles are used? Because I think if you want a recommendation, you're going to ask a nurse. Socks, water bottles.
Yeah.
Bags.
Because I could see SSM Health Careers presented by Stanley.
Let's work on it.
Hello, Stanley.
Who's listening?
Come on now. All right, we're giving them too much clout right now. And then what else did you say? You said Pizza Ranch. You
Pizza
said
Ranch. Well, I just went to Texas Roadhouse
Let's
That is-
go.
and we
Honey butter.
DoorDash. So let's be honest, we spend a lot of time at home and we take our kids out. We are not who you should follow in terms of where to go.
where
but
to eat.
That's my honest answer. I follow you on where we should go.
Okay. What about like some parks, family activities? Are there any activities like with your 9-year-old that you're like every year, he's going to want to go to this place or he's going to want to go to this event?
So I do think a lot of really cool indoor parks are opening up all over the area. So we've really enjoyed Go Play and Kids Empire. I think what I like about it, those are places that parents can either go up and play or they can choose to sit back and watch their kids run around and they feel pretty safe. So those have kind of been our favorite areas to go on the weekend because obviously I can sit back. I don't have to chase them around.
Yeah, and you don't have to
And then they
worry.
come back. I don't worry. So highly recommend go there.
That's amazing. So, Darrien, we're going to ship it to you, man. What's your STL bucket list? Tell us about some of them restaurants.
We know it's going to start with food.
Yeah, let's go. You can do more than 5. You can just ramble.
Oh, gosh. My favorite all time is going to be Cafe Nova.
Yeah.
It is a Greek spot down on South Grand. If you're looking for some great street tacos, I would say El Torito on Cherokee Street. Oh, gosh. We love brunch. So, man, so many great options here. I think I would go with, I don't want to leave anybody out. Southwest Diner's great.
It's hard to get in there, though, sometimes.
It's hard. You got to go
Yeah.
early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to go to brunch at like 7:30 a.m.
Sometimes you may have to.
Cafe Nova's cool. I got octopus from there, and they had belly dancers like walking around. They were doing something
Crazy.
crazy.
The show too.
I know. I was like just sitting there eating octopus like with belly dancers, and I was just like in U City or whatever it's at. I forgot where exactly it is, but I was like, it's crazy.
Yeah, and then Nicky Slices. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him.
God.
Nicky
Shout
Slices.
Shout out Nicky, man.
His pizza's phenomenal.
It's crazy. Do you pick it up down in South City? Like you got to go drive to like
It's an
Ghost
experience.
Kitchen?
I gotta go get it.
Yeah. You go to the Ghost Kitchen, you get it half baked, you bring it home. I mean, that pizza. He's about to open up a spot. He said he's announcing
first in
up a
line.
new spot. He's opening up a new spot, like a brick and mortar. So
Oh, that's dangerous for me.
yeah, it's gonna
After 75 hard, of
Yes.
course.
you. Nicky Slices is really good.
Yeah.
What else? What's like a date night spot? Cafe Nova? You think, or do you think?
Well, no, see, I can't give away all my secrets, but I like to actually. I think a great place for that would be over a Stone Turtle over in Dogtown. Great little bistro area. So if any of you are looking for Valentine's Day opportunities, I would say go there.
With you?
Yes.
We got like maybe.
Well, unless it's trying to, pawn me off. So, yes. No, but I think there's a lot of great things to do. I often find myself looking at, your guys' stories just to figure out the cool things to do in the city. I love going to the farmers markets. Right now it's a little cold, but I just went to Chicken and Pickle over in St. Charles.
Yeah,
Pickleball.
I haven't been there yet. It looks cool.
You gotta go.
Yeah,
It's fun
food's good
time.
too.
I'm 75 hard, so I couldn't check it out. It smelled
Their
good.
chicken
Ask him in
sandwich.
March.
It smelled good. The water was
It's the true
great.
test.
The water was great. Couldn't even drink beer either.
Hey, it was
Oh
good.
man, pickleball. You're probably killing it on pickleball. So, no, that's good. I mean, I think that like if somebody asked me my STL bucket list, and I can go through mine, but it would start at the farmer's market. Go to the farmer's market. I'm getting the breakfast sandwich from Farm Spirit, which is like that local pop up there.
Oh, yeah.
They have a farm out in DeSoto. And then if I'm going to lunch, I'm going to Grace Meat and 3. Best chicken.
Nice chicken.
Best chicken, best service. Shout out Rick over at Grace Meat and 3. If I'm doing takeout, which I'm about to do right after we leave here, I'm going to run by Miley over in Brentwood. The best Vietnamese. The Vietnamese trap queen is what I call her. Miley's in there. She's a rapper. She's Vietnamese. They cook the best food, fried rice, pho. And then, dinner spots, Bar Moro in Clayton is probably the sexiest spot in town. That's a Spanish Mediterranean. Like it's expensive. Only go there if you're really celebrating something.
Really
On
serious.
Friday.
Oh,
If you're serious about it, Caitlyn,
Only
you're
if
gonna
you're
take them there.
serious.
You don't get that many nights out.
Do you have Taco Buddha? I can't
Oh,
forget Taco Buddha. I used to work there.
Ooh. Taco Buddha. I don't even know. So you talked about Cherokee Street, and like people don't realize you can get like $2 street tacos that are unbelievable on Cherokee Street. El Bronco is my spot. Tequila El Bronco.
Okay, I'll have to check it out.
And then La Lasagna is cool. I don't think they have the best tacos, but they have the best patio. And like
Love a good
La
patio.
Lasagna is that corner spot that has like it's like a castle.
They got the best ice cream, I will say that.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a big ice cream, but no, we'll just talk about food. All right,
I'm like, you can talk all day about food.
Let's hear your STL bucket list. I want to hear your mom bucket list because you have a child, but then also like some date night spots, some foodie spots, some parks, whatever.
This is so hard. There's so many good spots.
Don't
Born and
say
raised.
Texas
Me and Darrien are
Roadhouse.
But I'm like-
Oh, yeah.
I'm like,
One
oh
of
my
the
God, I
things-
can't believe
Cancel
I
you for
said
that.
Texas Roadhouse.
Edit that one out.
Yeah, we're gonna cut that out.
I'll be made fun of forever.
I'm not going to say that.
fine.
I would
Ever.
say I'm going to go off the beaten path. Of course, we love Magic House, the zoo, all those things. But we love to go to Kirkwood, watch the trains, walk around the tracks, get some ice cream. So that's something we enjoy doing. The Gentle Barn. You guys familiar with the Gentle Barn?
No.
It's like rescued animals. You can go and just like pet them, hang out with them. Cows.
Really?
It's south. I should probably know, but
Yeah.
I don't. I love Made by Leah, North County born and raised. You didn't ask me where I went to high school, shockingly, but I love Made by Leah. Go to the library after that. That's
Yeah.
a little, mom's
Made by
son
Leah's
date.
crushing it.
So good.
She's so cool too.
So good. And
Yeah.
I love people's stories. Big shocker. So
Yeah.
I'm like Katie's. She just has good story.
Yeah.
And
Like women-owned businesses, they
Yes.
just have incredible. Katie's is crushing it too. It's
Yeah.
like these women-led brands that they're putting their face out there, but they're like
Yes.
just crushing, and their food. Leah's bakery is good. Katie's pizza is amazing too. So
think about it's not Texas Roadhouse.
the rolls at Texas Roadhouse, I will say, those are good.
Oh, don't get her started.
They hit.
They hit. They
My
hit
kid,
different.
my son ate like 6 of them the other day, and
Whoa.
I was like, I got to get rid of them. Nope.
Yeah, with the butter too.
Yes, the
Oh
whole
no,
thing.
yeah, that's
I'm
too
like,
much.
what
That's
is
like
the point?
2,000. That's a whole day's worth of calories right there.
9-year-olds can do it.
If you keep talking about it, he's not going to be able to edit it out. So you better watch it.
Digging yourself in a hole.
Done.
But I also love sports. So good Blues game, Cardinals
Yeah.
game.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
If I non-work things, like to dance. All my friends know that. Big Swiftie. So if you could somehow hook me up with some Swiftie tickets, that would be cool.
Did you go to Kansas City? No. Okay.
It's a sore subject.
yeah.
Yeah, sore
It's a sore
subject.
subject.
But it's
She'll
fine.
be
Taylor
back around.
Swift, if you're listening,
Yeah.
I will take Indy tickets.
She won't come back to St. Louis, huh?
I mean,
Beyonce did.
listen,
Come on.
Travis is going to get her
Goals.
nice
I'm
and
Beyonce
close
over
to
Taylor
us.
Swift. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm
I love.
sorry.
Okay, I do love Beyonce.
Beyonce
but they're
is
like
a
together.
legend.
Yeah,
Beyonce's
I love
an
Beyonce
icon
too.
beyond music.
But so is Taylor Swift. She's a businesswoman.
Okay,
Let's talk about
okay,
businesswomen.
Okay.
Billionaire.
That'll take another hour.
You'll lose. You'll lose this conversation.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't care enough. But no, I think that whole Taylor Swift stuff is just crazy to me. Like it's nuts what happened this year. And now the football stuff, it's just funny. So you'll see her more and more in the playoffs the farther the Chiefs go. So
But
are you a football fan now?
Yeah, are you? That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah, I am a football fan.
Did you know Travis Kelce before?
I know Travis Kelce, yes.
Sports ball, of course.
Well, I just want to thank you guys for coming on the show today. I think that, I wanted to entertain our guests a little bit, and I think we did that, but also just educate them on what it's like to be a nurse, what it's like to be in this career path. But I think if they go to social media, if you guys want to drop the SSM Health tags just so that they can go to social media, and then one of you just leave us with something, leave us with some sauce, leave us with like, a note to these aspiring nurses. So, Darrien, let's just pass it to you.
Pass it to
Come
me.
on now.
So you can find us at SSM Health Careers on all platforms. You can email us at join our team at ssmhealth.com. You can also find Nurse Mel,
Nurse.mel.
Nurse.mel, Nurse.dare, Nurse.Caitlyn on all platforms as well. And I think, my advice to you all would just to be, don't wait. Get into it now. I'll leave it there.
Good drop. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks again for tuning in to the STL Bucket List Show. This podcast is presented by Bankhead and Firth Ortho. Bankhead and Firth is family-friendly and family-focused right here in St. Louis. They just celebrated their 50-year anniversary, and they have 5 locations that are all near you right here in St. Louis. Head over to their website at bankheadandfirthortho.com.
Today they rep St. Louis, yeah. They rep St. Louis. They rep St. Louis.